Okay, good morning everybody. It's Mike. Thanks for jumping on with me today. It's Tuesday, April the 5th, and this is Go Out and List Month. Every day this month, we're going to focus on how to take listings, because in this business, you list to last. You list to last. It's just a truth. You might not like it. It still makes it a truth. Whether we like it or not, some things are still just true. And in this market, maybe more true than it's ever been before, right? And if you want to sell more homes in less time, then you're going to have to increase your listing inventory. It's the only way to do it. Okay, so everyday concepts on how to increase our listing inventory. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about for sale by owners, but before you check out on me here, before you groan, oh no, I don't like to do that, I can't believe we're talking about that, I'm not going to give you scripts and dialogues this morning. I'm going to help you get inside the mind of the for sale by owner. Because I think that until we actually feel comfortable with it, until we understand it, until I know where they're coming from, and I understand their behavior, and I also understand the flaws to their logic, and there are some definite flaws to their logic. They don't understand that, but then again, they're amateurs, right? I'm a professional. I understand the flaws to their logic, because if I don't, how am I going to help them come to grips with it? Because they all think this, right? In today's market, they all think, well, I can sell my house. I don't need you to sell my house. Here's a couple things I want you to understand about their mindset. First of all, they're cheap, okay? That's not a new phenomenon. Cheap has been around since the beginning of time. Home Depot builds big stores to people who are cheap, people that are do-it-yourselfers. They don't want to pay anybody else to do anything for them that they feel like they could do for themselves. Whether they actually can do it for themselves or not remains to be seen, but they think they can. Make sense? That's what you're dealing with. You're just dealing with people that are cheap. And in today's market, they feel like they can get the house sold themselves because of market conditions. Is that true? Statistically, they're no more successful today than they've ever been in the past. Only about 6 to 7% of all for sale by owners are going to be successful. Now, some of you are going to say, well, no, I know they're selling their own home. That's not true. It is true. It is true. But if I was a for sale by owner and I wanted you to never call me again, what would I say? I would say a couple things. Number one, I've got the house sold. Don't need anybody. See, I was able to sell it myself. Is that true? Apparently it is not true, because statistically their success rate is still 6 to 7%, which means 94 to 93% of them will not be able to sell the house themselves. You like your odds? I do. Now, why will they not be able to sell the house themselves? See, this is a key part that they don't understand. I'm going to give you a couple of them, but this is a biggie. They're not statistically going to be able to sell the house themselves, and it doesn't have anything to do with how smart they are. It's not about how smart it is. Hey, look at me. I sold over 10,000 houses. I ain't that smart. You don't have to be, thankfully, you don't have to be that smart to sell houses. It's not a game of smarts. I don't need a PhD to do this. Why, statistically, are they not going to be able to sell the house themselves? Exposure. They simply can't generate enough exposure on their home. It's kind of the same problem most of us have in our real estate business. You might be a great real estate agent, nobody knows about it. They might have a nice house that nobody knows about. They're just simply not able to generate enough exposure. Okay? The big reason. Now, here's another flaw to their logic. They think that in today's market, they're going to be able to get the same or more net to them because they don't have to pay a commission, right? Well, if the home buyer's out looking for a home by themselves without an agent, now why would a home buyer be out shopping for homes without an agent? Well, they're cheap too. Everybody's trying to save the commission. Well, it's kind of hard for both sides to save 6%, right? At best, what will happen is maybe they end up splitting it. Now, really, what kind of savings did you generate at all? But they feel like they'll net more by selling the home themselves. But you know, statistically, it's not true. If you go online, look at NAR statistics, NAR is going to say the average for sale by owner sells their home for 12% less than they could have gotten with an agent. I think that might even be a bigger number in today's market. And here's why I say this. Because you're running into this every day. The number of multiple offers that we generate because of the exposure that they get through us for their home. Do you not see homes selling for tens of thousands of dollars above what the homeowner was asking? For sale by owners don't have that phenomenon. So the old statistic, which I personally am feeling probably isn't true anymore, it's probably a much bigger number, but NAR's number was 12%. Well, you're going to do all this work, you're going to limit your exposure, statistically you're going to take longer to sell your house, and even after paying me, you're going to get 6 to 7% less money, even after paying me? Why would you do that? Because they don't understand that. They think it's not going to be hard at all, it's not going to take any time, and they're going to get lots of money. Gosh, if you felt that way about something, wouldn't you make the same decision they're making? So what's our role in all this? Number one, to understand it, to understand the flaws to their logic. Yeah, you're probably, statistically, the odds are way against you. Way against you. Why? Because you're not smart enough? No, because you can't generate enough exposure to qualified home buyers yourself. You're kind of hoping for people that buy homes off of Zillow or drive by your sign. Do people buy homes off Zillow? No, they just sit at home and browse homes on Zillow. You don't want to put 50,000 other agents to work for you as your advocate? You don't want the power of 2 MLS systems? You just want a sign in your yard. Okay, and you think you're going to get the same amount of money. Yeah, they do. See, there's 2 big flaws to their logic there. Do I find that telling them this, like I've explained it to you this morning, is effective? I do not. I just want to know it. I want to know what their problem is. I want to encourage you, your mindset when you're dealing with them is to think about them like they were 5-year-olds. Okay? Because in this sense, they really are. Would you argue with a 5-year-old? Would you debate a 5-year-old? Would you get involved in a long, lengthy, complicated conversation with a 5-year-old? Or when the 5-year-old told you that they wanted to grow up to be president of the United States one day, you would just knowingly smile and say, well, honey, if you work hard, right? Wouldn't argue. Well, you know, let me tell you statistically why you probably can't become president of the United States one day. I doubt that's the conversation any of us would have with the 5-year-old. Know this when you're dealing with them. Know that it will take a patient hand to guide them to the realization of where they need to be, and that you can be that person. Not the one that's going to argue with them, not the one that's going to tell them that they're wrong and you're right, just the patient guiding hand. I understand, I know where you're coming from, I understand the problems you're having and the flaws to your logic. And when we understand that as professionals, then you don't really need scripts and dialogues, folks. They're crutches. And do you like it when people call you and read off a script on a computer screen? Yeah, I don't either. Or is it better just to have a real conversation with people with some empathy and understanding of where they're coming from and how I might be positioned to help them achieve their ultimate goal when they're ready to understand it? We're going to keep exploring listings every day this week so that by the end of April, we're increasing our listing inventory. We've got a strong, repeatable, duplicatable business. I hope you'll come join me, and at 9 o'clock, we're going to lead a practice session where we go into this in more detail. So let's go. Get up with me and let's go out and list and make it happen for ourselves today.